All right, I see it. So you're in control?
Yes.
All right. Well, Tara's in control, so we're safe now. So, how do you get to the conference site? Well, if you're flying into O'Hare, you've got several different ways to get there. Uber and Lyft are probably the best choice. It's about a 20-minute ride by Uber or taxi, and it's a bit cheaper by Uber and Lyft rather than taxi. There's also a town car option, so if you've got a whole family with you, maybe it makes sense. I find it hard to believe, but the internet tells me that the faster bus line is 42 bucks. And there is a way to do it for $10 or less, but it involves 4.5 hours of travel. So I wouldn't advise that. All right, next slide. This is a general map of the greater Chicago area. You can see the cute little red spot with a white dot in the middle. That's where our hotel is, the Eaglewood Resort. You can see off to the right, just below Elk Grove Village, is a sort of purple area. That's O'Hare Airport. And that's the trick. You're trying to get from O'Hare, from the right side or the east side of O'Hare, around, up and down, and over to the hotel. But if you're coming by car, you will be on one of the major expressways that approach the greater Chicago area. 90 and 94 are sort of the northern routes. 90 ends up going from Ohio and Indiana through Illinois up into Wisconsin and on to Minnesota, or I'm sorry, on to upper Michigan, I think. And then there's 90, which heads to Minnesota. There's 88, which heads straight out west. 80, which is a bit further south, but out west, and then up to Indiana. 55 and 57 are the routes up through Illinois. So chances are when you get your little navigation on your phone, you're going to be on one of those roads for a good long time before you get to the last final part of this process. As you follow any of these, the important thing to remember is you don't want to go through Chicago. You don't want to spend 2 hours on the Dan Ryan. So try to stay west of the city. There are multiple ways to do that. So you've got lots of options depending on how you'd rather travel. On to the next slide.
Chris, I'll just add, and it relates to the slide before. The Uber also has a Wave, W-A-V, that you can order a handicap wheelchair accessible van too. And it's the same
wonderful
price as regular Uber.
So ultimately, as you get close, you're going to end up either on I-290 or I-355. And ultimately, you're going to end up going on to I-355. You can see that that is the western leg. The eastern leg and north are 290. Whichever way you're coming, you're going to get onto 355 and then on to the next slide.
Sorry.
From 355, you get off down at the bottom of the picture onto US 20. You go to where the green starts and turn onto Swift Road. You take Swift Road up to when it turns becomes Nordic Road, and that is where the hotel is. You can see all those little white lines where the red spot is. That's the giant parking lot in front of the hotel. All right, next slide. So there's an attractive picture of the building facing the golf course. This is a place with a very nice golf course. The Medina Country Club is next door. It has an even bigger set of golf courses. It's a lovely area. But as you can see, if you look very carefully through the trees, the parking lot is over there. That's where you'll arrive, and you'll be entering the opposite side of the building. Next slide. This is still the same side of the building that faces the golf course, but from the other end. If you look at the taller area in the picture, that's the atrium 2-story lobby. If you look at the far end, that's the Red Oak Ballroom, which we'll be talking about. All right, next slide. So here's a quick tour of the hotel. If you look down at the bottom, you will see an interesting little, oh, thank you for the cursor pointing the way there. That's the entrance right there, which takes you into the lobby. You'll check in there, and you will be headed toward your room, first of all, which is down the hallway to the left and across a bridge to another building, which is at the very end of the map. You can see the bridge. So all of the hotel rooms are over there. It's several stories. There are elevators at both ends of that building. If you want to take advantage of their bowling alley, spa, swimming pool, exercise room, that's also in another building, which is sort of below this part of the map, but it is a slight walk across a greenway. All right, going back to the map that we've got here, starting from the lobby, you will see that there is a large open area called Burnham Dining Area. That is where some of your, well, many of your meals will be. If you go down the hallway the other direction, you will see there are various meeting rooms. These are the meeting rooms we will be using. And you will notice on the lower part of the screen, or below the hallway, there are also 2 open areas with like a box there. Those are where the breaks occur. So you'll be spending your time in this hallway, going into rooms, and going further to the right to the lobby of the Red Oak Ballroom. That is where Tara will be at the registration desk, and she'll have some people assisting her, I hope, so she doesn't get stuck there the entire time. But that's where you'll pick up your registration materials and go to ask all the important questions as life goes on. And just above that lobby is the Red Oak Ballroom, where we'll have our larger meetings and some of our meals. Let's see, I was asked to point out that it is easy to get outside. There are doors out in front of, well, on the golf course side of the building, in the lobby and in Burnham's, out onto a terrace way. There is, I believe, a terrace over at Red Oak, but I don't know if those doors are open. And, you know, this is a comfortable country sort of atmosphere that you should be able to enjoy. On to the next slide. Now, that is not the way it was on my computer. I don't know what to say about that. Okay, this is why I should have printed out the okay, well, I'll tell you what's supposed to be on the slide. There are 2 lists of things. Oh, you're going to move them around for us. I've already talked about where you go from the lobby. So the thing I have to tell you about is, while there's lots of free parking at this hotel, there is no shuttle service. There are no wheelchairs, so you need to bring your own equipment. We have been promised that the staff will wear masks while we're there, but there will be other hotel guests and they're not promising to wear masks. So there will be some people wandering around without masks on. And I've already noted easy access to the outdoors. So on to the next slide. The day you arrive on Thursday, you'll be able to pick up your registration packet in the Red Oak Ballroom lobby starting at 5 o'clock. The registration table will be open from 5 to 9. On Friday, it will open at 7. So someone's going to look bleary-eyed at 7 a.m. at the registration table. Also in the registration area, there's going to be a health and safety table. So if people have questions about the health and safety requirements, we're going to have a board member there to talk to people. There is a lab that's doing a survey of attendees, and they will be signing people up for their survey process at another table. And of course, there will be literature from some of our sponsors and patient advocacy group partners. At that Thursday night, cocktail social hour starts at 5:30 in the lobby, same place you've been. Dinner is at 6:30 in the ballroom itself. And at 7:30, there will be bingo. Tara and I have never been to one of these conferences, so we've never experienced the delight that is ULF bingo, but we're told it is a traditional part of the conference.
This is Savan. I want to highlight a little bingo action that hey everyone, I'm Savan Rudnick. On the board of directors. Thanks for letting me join. I was in, what was it, Charlotte, I think, a couple of years ago at the ULF conference, and my aunt and I were eating, and everybody was laughing, and all of a sudden, all these kids were getting all excited, and they were doing bingo, and it was so it's festive. It's like you can join if you want. You can play part of a game. You can play all of them, but you know, it's maybe not as intense as your like Sunday night at the church or in your local town. It's way more social. So that's my experience with it.
All right. So on to the next slide. So the health and safety requirements. Well, Savan, would you like to talk about them as long as?
Sure, thanks. Again, hello. So we sat down and we thought, hey, let's align to our scientists, our own doctors, and the CDC. It's a global organization, and we wanted to take the smart and safe route. So with that, you have read through and you've signed on the dotted line around embracing, understanding, and adhering to our health and safety measures, which include the proof of vaccination for anyone participating. And I think it's 5 and older. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I looked at that. And in my workday life, I think there's different.
5 and under?
Yeah, 5 and under do not have to, correct. Right? Are we still
Right.
at that?
Yeah.
This pandemic is so, of course it's evolving. My brain needs to evolve with it. So anyways, and so there is the requirement of the vaccination, which I think a lot of people have provided, but if you have not, will you do a little Post-it note, maybe after we get off this call, go back out to the email that Tara has sent or the ULF has sent, and take a photo of the vaccination document, upload it to the site, so that we can get that taken care of. We want to get all that done prior. We just don't want to. Anyway, so thank you for doing that. If you have questions, you can email the ULF and they can forward it over to me so I can take something off of Tara's plate. The second thing is indoors, when we're not eating, we're going to be wearing a face mask. Pretty standard practice, ebb and flows throughout the pandemic. Numbers are going up. We're glad we've stuck to this. Again, we want this to be a safe and fun environment. Surgical grade and above. So those homemade cloth ones, those aren't going to cut it for the conference and for the safety of the people year round. The surgical grade are those blue ones that you can get pretty inexpensive. Otherwise, there's the KN95, and then the top of the top, I guess, is the is it N95? So
Yes.
I think, yeah. Oh, that's a mistype. Sorry, that was probably me. And then ensure you're 6 feet apart the best that you can, I think. And then the respecting others is just, we don't know. And everybody is so unique and different. And so we just, I personally, I know that people will step up to it because we do this every day, and just respecting those around us. And again, we're looking forward to having so many people participate. So thank you for allowing them the space or any additional protection that they may have put around themselves. Thank you.
We will have masks on hand as well. Just wanted to throw that out there.
All right, on to the next slide. Okay, so on a typical day, which is both of the days, you will start with a very brief session in the Red Oak Ballroom. The first day, it's a welcome. Second day, it's a review of all the excitement from the scientific session the day before, or the day before the family conference. I recommend that you look for your disease-specific block. They either run in the morning from 9 to 12:30 or in the afternoon from 1:30 to 3:45. But you'll also want to identify other sessions you want to attend, and many of those sessions repeat. So if you have more than one thing you want to attend, chances are you can schedule things in such a way that you get to see everything you want to see. However, if you can't, you should note that sessions with an asterisk are recorded in Red Oak, Lilac, Arrowhead, and Trillium. So even if you can't get to everything you'd like to be seeing during the conference itself, you'll be able to go back and see the other things once we post them in July. Or you can watch what you did attend again if you want to take further notes or hear it again. The other thing I wanted to point out is there is a free discussion group, an open discussion for each disease group. Those all start at 4 o'clock. They occur on both days. On to the next slide.
Can I ask, when you say open discussion, does that, I mean, I feel like it's obvious. Does that mean that I go and I participate and it's going to be open dialogue? Like I can ask questions, it's more conversational? Should I come prepared maybe with some thoughts and questions?
Sivan, you're setting this up as though I've been there before and you haven't, when in fact, the reality is you've been there before and I haven't. I assume that this is a broader discussion among the families during these. Is that not the case?
Generally, that's what the open discussions have been. Sometimes there is a doctor sitting in. They want to either engage with the families in there or they're just in there to listen. Dependent, sorry, I got a tractor going by.
Oh, Margaret, you're on mute.
Sorry, a tractor and a plane was going by. I just didn't want you guys to hear all that. So I'm assuming that's going to be different from like the groups, the support groups. So this is kind of an open forum with doctors having the availability of sitting in if they want to. And you can probably correct me if I'm wrong, Tara.
No, you're right on.
Yeah, as I recall, it's just a really nice time to meet with other families that have the disorder from all over the
Right.
US that you haven't been able to meet before. And as well as what Margaret said is usually on the first day, the Friday, there's doctors in there to help answer questions. And some are more structured than others.
In some cases, the patient advocacy group that's organizing the disease session may also want to try leading that discussion. And if so, they're welcome to do that. So as you can see, we will have disease-specific sessions and open discussions for all of the diseases listed on this slide, including undiagnosed. So in general, the advice is don't be shy, ask questions, talk to people, set up lunches or breakfasts with them so that you get a chance to have a longer discussion. And of course, it's a long day. So if you know you're going to run out of energy at some point and need a rest, schedule that in ahead of time rather than falling apart at the very time that you want to be at a session. Any other tips that the group would like to give?
I was told from another member that there's a lot of walking. Things are very, very far apart from each other.
Mhm. That's true. So if you look, if you can remember that first picture that Chris showed you with the outlay, that's pretty spread out right there, but it's even more spread out if you want to go back to your room and maybe freshen up or something like that. So keep in mind, if there's family members that don't have the stamina to do the walking, you may have to adjust that just a little bit.
Well, I have to adjust that for me now. I'm on a walker.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's gonna, Jamie, it probably will affect you because if you're, and depending on what room you're booked into too. I know the first year we went there, I think John had his scooter. I don't think he had his nice chair. So even that was hard and we had to go back and plug in and get some juice going and stuff like that. So it is spread out.
So then I should bring my scooter?
I think it'd probably be better if you had something that was, are you flying in? Do you have a portable one?
Yeah, I do. Mine folds up like a piece of luggage, but it's 65 pounds, so I can't lift it myself. But they did
Okay.
say I can get a wheelchair accessible van that we wouldn't have to lift it. Because it does fold up to be the size of a carry-on luggage. It folds up very small.
And you can get an Uber that's, as I mentioned, handicap accessible from, are you flying in?
Yes, I am.
And unfortunately, I don't think you can book it ahead of time, but you can do it on the app. And
It only weighs 63 pounds. I can't lift it, but most men can
Right.
lift it. I
Right.
can't do it.
Right.
But they'll have a
Okay.
ramp. I would imagine you could scoot it up.
Okay, so then I will make sure I have my scooter and my charger.
Yeah.
Thank you, Margaret. Too
Yeah,
bad I'm
not
not
a
going to get to
problem.
see you and John. It's horrible.
Yeah,
Darn it.
I'm sorry.
I've
We'll
missed
cross our
10 years.
fingers
I'm
that
finally
next year's
getting
a better
back.
year for him.
So
Sorry,
I'm
quick
healthy enough
question.
finally that I can travel again. So
The other Margaret, is your husband named John?
Yes.
So's mine.
We got trouble.
Oh, shoot.
All right, on to the next slide. This is a list of all the patient advocacy groups that will be represented at the meeting, as far as we know right now. Some of them are, of course, organizing sessions. Others are attending as general conference participants. But if you're interested in connecting with people related to a particular disease, there may be someone you'd like to make a note about here. Any questions on that?
Nice.
All right. What meals are included? Well, you get breakfast Friday through Sunday from 7 to 9 in the Burnham Buffet. You get lunch Friday and Saturday from 12:30 to 1:30, again in the Burnham Buffet. Dinner is in different places, different nights. It will be in the Red Oak Ballroom on Thursday and Saturday, but in the Burnham Buffet on Friday, unless you buy a ticket to go to the Ann Mosher Tribute Gala. And finally, there are breaks both AM and PM in the break bars along the hallway that we talked about earlier. All you have to do to get fed is wear your name badge. So don't lose your name badge, or you could indeed starve.
And the food is wonderful.
It's
It
like a
truly is.
cruise. It's like a cruise. You know, they
It's
just
really
keep feeding.
good. There's lots of options if you're a healthy eater or gluten-free or any of those things. And usually, again, Terry, you can correct me, but if there's something that you can't have and you want to see if they can swap it, they're really good about trying to be accommodating. I mean, there was probably a group of 10 of us that were gluten-free the last time, and they did a really good job to help us out.
All right. Any questions on food? All right. Activities for children. There is a kids room for ages 5 to 11 and a teen room for ages 12 to 17. They are open both during the morning session and the afternoon session. These rooms are closed at lunchtime, so if you take your child there, you need to pick them up for lunch, and then you can bring them back in the afternoon. The folks in these rooms will not administer medicine. You may be called or texted if there are toileting issues. You know, these are volunteers. There's only so much they're going to be able to do. If there are behavior issues, again, parents will be called. Marcy, were you able to join us?
She was, let's see. I saw her for a little
I'm
bit.
here. I'm here. I'm here.
Would you like to share some of what's been set up for the kids room?
So we have some fun programming this year. We have therapy dogs that are going to be coming. I believe we have a session. I don't have the agenda in front of me. I'm sorry. But we do have some therapy dogs. Make-A-Wish is coming. They're going to try to do a presentation. I'm sorry if I don't have the details in front of me, but I believe that the agenda was posted on the website. We've been working pretty hard on programming. There is going to be some bowling activities where the entire group goes on Friday afternoon for the evening, or I believe I want to say like right after lunch through like about 4:30. So we do have private access to the bowling alley where both the kids room and the teen room will go together for the afternoon. So we do have some fun activities lined up for the kiddos. I believe that we are still in need of some volunteers. If I'm not mistaken, Tara, is that right?
Yes, we still
like,
need
Desperately need some volunteers.
We're not desperately
Okay,
right now, but
sorry.
we definitely need probably a couple more.
Yeah, we could really use some parent volunteers to kind of relieve the other volunteers that are already coming. But we do have really fun activities. I was trying to work on some music therapy, but I don't think it's going to work out this year.
So if anybody on the call is interested in learning more about how to volunteer with either the kids or the teen room, please send an email to ulf.org and feel free to share it with others that may be interested in helping to volunteer for that.
I did want to say that at any point, my son is going to be utilizing the room. So as a parent, I frequently check in with my child to make sure that he's comfortable. My son is in a wheelchair. So, you know, toileting and I don't know if some kids like take, you know, their medication or they need to be suctioned. We have to be mindful as parents that none of that is included in the kids' room. So please make arrangements for your child to have his or her medication at whatever time is convenient, or whatever the doctor, you know, whatever doctor's orders you follow, and just ensure that you leave your phone number with the volunteers that are going to be manning those rooms. But also, it's nice to check in, because you know, I've noticed that some kids do get a little bit scared, you know, not knowing who they are, you know, who the people are in the room and other kids. So just as a comfort level, and for the kids, just pop in whenever you can, just to ensure them that you're still around.
All right, any questions? And on to the next slide. There are also activities for grown-ups. There is a silent auction Thursday through Saturday at the Red Oak Ballroom. You can bid on items until about 11:30 on Saturday. You need to pick up the item and pay for it at the registration table before 4 o'clock on Saturday. We are holding a special fundraising event, a tribute gala for Ann Mosier, one of the founders of the organization. That's on Friday in the Red Oak Ballroom. The cocktail hour starts at 5:30, dinner's at 6:30. At 7:15, we'll start the presentations. There will be a number of people talking about Ann and her life. Hopefully she'll get up and say a few words, and after that, there will be a live auction. The tickets for that are $100, and we're raising money actually to support hiring a postdoc to work in the lab that Ann Mosier has run for 40 years, who will probably take over from her when she fully retires. At this point, she is still working in her lab at age 81, I believe. And finally, there are cocktail hours on Thursday and Saturday from 5:30 to 6:30 in the Red Oak foyer. You get one drink ticket each night, so one free drink, and then it's a cash bar. I'm sure there are other activities that you're interested in, but these are the ones that struck me as the most important ones to warn you about. Do you have any questions on these?
No questions. I'm going to chime in because I want to really I want to build off of what Chris put out there and shared. Couple things. I want to start with the Ann Mosier Tribute Gala. You know, this is so it's the first time the organization has hosted and thrown one of these, and really we don't exist without funding, and so that's just one piece of it. But truly, I mean, Chris hit on it. She's been doing research, and I mean, I did a Facebook post last night. I was like, you know, growing up, when my brother was diagnosed, it was like Ann and Hugo. Like, I didn't know them in the 90s, but for me, it was like, there was, you know, there's somebody that, oh, I'm going to cry, but it was like, there was somebody out there that cared to spend, and now I know that they spent their life doing research on how to find a cure. And she's just an amazing person. And I'm excited for us to have this gala. And I hope that if folks are able to make it, I think it'll be worth your while. I think it'll fill your hearts. I mean, she truly is amazing. The silent auction, in the past, it's been a tradition. And I say this because if it's your first time, you're like, well, I don't know any traditions. But the silent auction has been a little bit typical in the past, where families would bring something, stuff that I purchased in the past was like a crocheted blanket, homemade earrings. There was different jewelry. This year, I think I'm going to do a basket of I'm from Minneapolis. I'm going to do a Minnesota basket. But if there's something that you would like to contribute, we'd love to have you participate and contribute to that. And so I just want to make sure that I highlighted those two things. Thank you.
And I see over in the chat that people are discussing what the attire is. Yes, it's business attire. I'm no longer sure what business attire means, but you know, no t-shirts, a little dressier. I will wear a tie and a sport coat. Any questions? Okay, on to the next slide. Oh, yes.
You were talking about the gala, right?
Yes,
Business attire for the gala.
right. No, I'm not going to require a tie all day long.
Yeah, it's more casual for the meeting itself, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's more casual. A lot of people wear the ULF t-shirts.
Right,
So yes.
All right. As Sivan was saying, we would appreciate help with with auction donations. We're looking for live auction items that are $100 or more, and silent auction items that are probably $25 and up. Something that's characteristic of the city or region you come from is always a possibility. I know from other auctions that food and alcohol are always popular, as are electronic gizmos, memorabilia, knickknacks. I have seen on silent auctions bidding wars over t-shirts that were, you know, fancy t-shirts, but they were just t-shirts, but they had, you know, clever phrases on them, and who knows? So whatever suits your fancy, if you're willing to donate something you think other people would bid on, by all means, bring it along. Next slide.
I just seen something.
Hey, Jamie, you can say hi to John now, real quick.
How you doing?
All right, I
Can
don't
you
want to
hear me?
interrupt. Okay.
I just seen something in the chat about the sessions run into each other. Once one ends, the others begin. That is true. But there is also repeat sessions a lot too. So if you do miss one day, there's generally you can find a repeat session maybe on Saturday.
And there does tend to be, like, you know, the room has to clear out and people have to fill back in. So it's usually a 5-minute gap, and all the rooms are really close to each other.
All right, on to the next slide. And as was mentioned already, we are looking for volunteers. We need people to sort of be in charge in some of the rooms. We have a small AV crew, so someone needs to stay there and watch over the computer links and assist with the processes. There will need to be some folks working on the setting up the silent auction. There are, I don't know if we still need people for bingo or not, Tara, but we did need bingo assistance. Tara needs some help with the registration table. And of course, as mentioned, there's the kids' room and teen room. So if you're interested in any of these, we'll be happy to share with you what the requirements are and how the process works. All right, on to the next slide. I wanted to point out to you that there is a survey. This is a genuine academic survey being done by a postdoctoral student on the impact of conferences on rare disease patients and families. They want to analyze what the impact of attending a conference is on the participants. So they will be signing people up on the first day and a half in the Red Oak foyer. So as you come in and pick up your registration materials, by all means, stop by the table if you'd be willing to participate in their survey. It's open to everyone who's attending the conference. It's being conducted by a lab at McGill University. There's a survey that they will give you that first day when you sign up. And then a couple of weeks after the conference, they'll send you a second survey to see what impact the conference had on the things they're trying to measure.
And I would suggest as many people, please take this survey, because the impact it will have is we can scientifically prove that it has a benefit. The conference has a benefit on families and patients, so that can help us with funding. We can go to pharma companies, biotech companies, and say, see, this is the impact it has, please help us fund it. Also, the person doing the research, as Chris mentioned, is a postdoctoral candidate. She is actually, her brother is a leukodystrophy patient and has been coming to the conference for years. So it's kind of coming full circle and helping our community. So thanks, everyone.
All right, on to the next slide. We're getting to the end here, I think.
So there, Chris, there was a quick question in the chat room.
Oh,
So
sorry.
there is Wi-Fi available, like in all the session rooms. I always had, years past when I went, I always brought my laptop. So you're able to get, like you're able to use it. And then of course you'll have a different code, like when you go to the wing of where your room is. But there is Wi-Fi that is where all the meeting rooms are.
That is correct. All right.
I'm just gonna have to be really talented, and I'm gonna have to practice now so I can use my scooter with my walker on it, so I can park my scooter and just use my walker to move around. Yes?
Yeah, do you have anything you can strap your walker to the back of it?
No, there's not much of a back to it. There's quite a bit of front. So I could
You
probably
can also ask for help. Everybody there is very helpful, and we're all in the same community. So
it's just the long distance, because I fell and broke my ankle, and then I had a total knee. So my entire right leg is in a brace from mid-thigh down. So I use my walker as crutches. By the time I get halfway down a hallway, I'm done. My arms hurt. I'll figure it out. I'm really sad, Margaret. I won't get to see you and John this
I am
time.
sad too. Virtual hugs.
I'm finally getting out.
I did want to say something, that the conference is a nice way to talk to families and feel like we are all connected and we're not alone. Like, you know, our slogan, we're not alone. Just remember to have fun. Remember to, you know, talk to those parents. And I know sometimes the information that we get during the workshops is not exactly what we want to hear, or it can be a little daunting. You know, there are times where we feel like we're up against, you know, a mountain, but I just want to reiterate, try to have fun and try to go out there and meet families, because we're not alone. That's all I wanted to say for the evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And as some of you can see, I've been going to the conferences since 1990, basically. I've missed a few over the years as our kids graduated, and this year will be the first time I've missed in a long time again. My husband has AMN, so we were one of the younger couples. He was in his early 30s when he was newly diagnosed, and we started going to the conference. Well, he's 64. Lots have happened on our journey to get there, but I have met lifelong, I can't even explain. Now, Savant, I'm going to start crying, but there has been so many couples that I've met that have got us through some of the really tough times. So it's really, really important to have that social aspect of the conference. To me, that's 95% of why we went. Because it seems like that once you get to know whatever diagnosis you have, you become an expert at it and you're going to the conferences to see what they have new and what you can soak up there. But the social part of it has to be hands down. I mean, I'm so sorry I'm so sad I can't go, but I just wanted to make sure that I kind of added to Marcy's comment that it's just so important to network and connect with families.
And I will double that, Margaret. I've missed 10 years due to health issues of my family. And now I'm able to go again. And I am so grateful that I'll get to see some of the families I haven't got to see in years, but I've talked to online. And Margaret and John, I'm not going to get my hug, and I'm going to miss meeting your dog. You know,
Well,
I've
Jamie,
missed it horribly. It's been hard without it, honestly.
well, Jamie, my husband and I, the new Margaret and John will give you a hug. We'll be the substitute.
Absolutely.
Oh, gotcha. Well, and you know, and Marcy hit on something also that if we can keep giggling, when it was here in Minneapolis, of course, my family, I'm surrounded, my mom's side's huge, and ALD and AMN run on that side. And so a lot of them wanted to participate. It was great. But here's the funny part. They had the table at the front during one of the sessions, and I was a couple tables behind them. And I was like, I wonder which one of my aunts and uncles is going to fall asleep during the presentation, because it was pretty scientific. Like, I was taking notes. And so when I think about what to expect, Marcy had said, you know, some of it's can feel either heavy, or I don't think those are the words she used. I literally was taking notes like I was in college. And then I was kind of making sure that my aunt wasn't dozing off in the front row. But so there's that piece of it too. But you know, we're there to learn. We're there to. It's amazing what you take away from it. Can not only does it kind of fill your heart and your soul, but it also provides you some tools and language to bring back into your life, and it might be helping connect things that someday could open up the door for somebody relating to a leukodystrophy. I found that I always learn something. I'm like, oh, you know, like the newborn screening, or, you know, I was like, oh, you know, anyways. But yeah, my relatives will not be in the front row falling asleep this time, but if they are, we can laugh at them.
All right. If you have questions later on, by all means, email the office, phone us, check out things on the website. At the conference, there will be someone who can answer questions at the registration table throughout the conference. On Thursday, all the board members and staff will be wearing blue conference t-shirts. So by all means, grab someone in a blue t-shirt on Thursday and ask them questions. Are there any other questions that anyone has?
Yeah, there was another question in the chat box. So we talk about all these sessions with the doctors, and there is a lot of information that we may not understand, but those open sessions where you actually get to sit with some of the medical people, they can explain anything like at our level that if like we have questions about, but for the most part, they know that they're presenting to us. So they've kind of gone through a lot of their presentation and made it more on our level of thinking versus theirs, even though there's really a lot of information that you get. But there is a lot of them that you're not going to have trouble, I don't think, following it, especially if you know the disease that your family member has. Now, the undiagnosed, I think that I sat in a couple of those sessions over the years, and there was more questions at the end. And don't be afraid to ask the doctors questions. You know, that's why we're there. That's why they're presenting there. So if there's something you don't understand, if they give you the opportunity to ask that question, ask away. I hope that helps, Bill.
Well, I want to take this time to thank all the helpful people who made this happen. Tara Nunez, Marcy Flores, Savan Rudnick, Margaret McIntyre, and of course, Margaret Halter. So thank you all for participating, sharing, answering all the questions.
Hi, my name's Kim. I'm going to be a first-time attendee. Can I just echo that and say thank you for setting up this session? It's been extremely helpful, and I think I'm going to have a better shot at getting as much as possible out of this. So thank you all.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you.
That's great to hear.
All right. Well, I can sit here for several more minutes and get other people to answer questions. Are there any?
Roger, are you handling the support group? One of them? You're on mute. You're still on mute, Roger.
Yes,
There
I
you go.
am.
Okay.
You left
All
me
right.
alone.
Yeah, I know. What night
No
are
adult
you?
supervision. Do you know what that can do?
Wait a minute, I'm trying to help you here. What night are
This
you
is
doing this?
gonna hurt.
I may
I
phone
showed
you.
up
I
and
may
gone.
phone you or call you if I can. So are you scheduled on Friday night or?
I think he's got two.
Two nights, because each session it's the same. Well, it's basically the same session, but my first opening comment is I'm not an expert on anything. I'm a spouse.
Oh, is this, are you doing the support group for the spouse, the spousal?
The spousal one, yeah.
However, Joanne is doing the other.
Okay. All right. Well, I may message you and get your phone number and call you if you give me the dates and the times.
Okay.
And then I'll be there in voice, not in person.
In spirit.
Well, to me, getting together with the people emphasizes the saying of ULF, you are not alone.
Yep.
And by meeting other people that are undergoing the same circumstances, lets you feel that for real.
Amen to
I can
that.
honestly say without the people I've met at the ULF, when I lost my son, I don't know how I would have gotten through it. So thank you guys.
Yep. Love you, girl.
I'm going to get my hugs, 10 years worth.
We're part of a club nobody asked to be in, but
That's
That's
right.
for sure.
I'm so honored to be a part of it.
Yep.
Bill and Heather say thank you. John says thank you. Jody says thank you. It was very helpful. It was nice to see everybody's faces and see the comments. I'm getting excited, and I hope people show up to the gala because I'm excited to have, you know, to me that to celebrate too. Sometimes we don't make time for that in our life, so it'll be neat.
I'm very excited. Well, and everybody remember this face, because this is a face that you will see at registration and for any other questions you need. I know it says Keely, but I'm Tara. But you probably will meet Keely too. I'm sure she'll make an appearance. I'm very excited to meet everybody in person because I haven't even met most of the board in person. I've talked to a lot of people on the phone and in Zoom calls. So I'm super excited for this. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to email the office. It's just the word office@ulf.org, and that'll go to both me or Chris. But I don't know if anybody has any other questions. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
See everyone next month.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Long. See you, Savan.
Bye, good night.
See y'all.